Hello and welcome to Victory Online Academy. In this session, we are going to learn about binomial theorem. So, what does binomial theorem is and why this is very important? That's what we are going to see in this lesson. Let's start. So, by means two. Nomial means terms. So it is related with two terms, the expansion of two terms actually. Okay, so I just want to give you a little background why this was invented, why this binomial theorem was invented. So what is a plus b square? If we expand this by multiplying a plus b multiply a plus b, okay, a plus b square is this, and if we expand you will get a square plus 2ab plus b square. What is a plus b whole cube? So this is a cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cube. Okay. Now if I ask you to find out a plus b power 4, so you can write it like this: a plus b whole cube multiply a plus b. Right, and you can simplify that. But that is easy to solve, like it will take some time and you'll be able to find out the answer. But if I ask you what is the expansion of a plus b to the power 10, that is very lengthy and very difficult to find out the expansion of a plus b to the power 10, right? That's why this concept was invented. Binomial theorem was invented. And what is exactly this theorem and how it is going to help in finding the expansion of a plus b to the power 10, that's what we are going to learn here. Okay, so as you can see here, that if we find out the a plus b whole square, so the first term starts with the highest power, which is 2, and then in the next term the power of the first term decreases by 1, and here it is becomes 0, and the second term power starts with 0, then increases by 1, and then increases by another 1, like it becomes the highest power. So as you can see, the power of the first term starts with the highest, which is 2, and it keeps on decreasing. The second term power starts with 0 and it keeps on increasing and goes to the highest. That's what is happening here as well. It starts with 3, then becomes 2, then becomes 1, and here it becomes 0. We can write here a to the power 0. B starts with 0, like we can write here b to the power 0, becomes 1, then 2, and then 3. So this is the pattern here. So one thing for sure we can write is the first term will be a to the power 4, and the last term will be b to the power 4. Then in the second term, it decreases by 1 and b increases by 1. Then it has to be a square b square, then a b cube, and the last term is b to the power 4. But we don't know what will be the coefficients, right? These coefficients, we have to write the coefficients as well. With the pattern, we have written the term that the first term has to be a to the power 4 and the last term will be b to the power 4, and the first and it decreases by 1 and b increases by 1, power of b increases by 1, but we don't know the coefficients are. So for that, Pascal triangle was introduced. Now what is Pascal triangle, and how Pascal triangle will help us to write the coefficient, that's what we are going to see here. So if it is a plus b to the power n, okay, and if n is, here I'm writing the n, and then here I'll write the coefficients. So if n is 0, if I write a to the power a plus b to the power 0, and so anything raised to power 0 is 1, If I write n as 1, so you will get a plus b, right? A plus b. So the coefficients are 1 and 1 because a plus b, the coefficients are 1 and 1. Okay. If I write power 2, so the coefficients are 1, 2, 1. So here I'm writing just the coefficients. So 1, 2, 1. When the power was 3, so it will be 1. See, as you can see here, 1, 3, 3, 1. 1, 3, 3, 1. So what we can observe from here that it is forming a triangle. That's why it's called Pascal triangle. The starting term, the coefficients of the first term and the last term is always 1, and the coefficients of other terms we can easily find out. See, 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 1 is 3, and 1. Here, if I write 4, so first term coefficient has to be 1. Then the next term is 1 plus 3, 4, 3 plus 3, 6, 3 plus 1, 4, and 1. So, obviously, like using the Pascal triangle, you can write down the coefficients. The coefficients are 1, 4, this is 1, 4, 6, 4, and 1. And that's the expansion. If you want to write for a plus b to the power, let's say a plus b to the power 7. Okay. So for n equals to 7, let's find out the coefficients. So for 5, it will be 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. For n is equal to 6, it has to be 1, 6, 15, 20, 15, 6, 1. For n is equal to 7, it has to start with 1, then 1 plus 6, 7, 6 plus 15, 21, 15 plus 20, 35, then 35, 21, then 7, and then 1. So we got the coefficients. Okay, so we can write down the answer. It starts with the highest power. Then let's write down the pattern first. So 6b, 5b square, 4b cube, 3b4. The first term power decreases, second term power increases. Okay, so next will be a square b5, next will be a b6, and then b7. Now let's write down the coefficients. So 1, 7, 21, 35, 35, 21, 7, 1. That's the answer. So that's how you can easily find out the expansion of two terms of any power. Okay. So one is the Pascal triangle method. Another is binomial coefficient method that we will discuss it later. But one more thing what I want to explain it to you. If the power is 2, there will be 3 terms. If the power is 3, there are 4 terms. If the power is 7, there will be 8 terms. So if it is a plus b to the power n, so the total terms will be n plus 1. Okay, that's very important thing. And the coefficient starts with 1 and ends with 1. Okay, now let's see factorials. So what does factorial means? If I write 5 factorial, this is the symbol of factorial. Factorial means this product starts with 5 and keeps on multiplying till 1. 6 factorial is 6 multiply 5 multiply 4 multiply 3 multiply 2 multiply 1. 7 factorial, 7 multiply 6 multiply 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now there is a pattern here. This is what? This is 5 factorial. So can we write 6 factorial as 6 multiply 5 factorial? Similarly, 7 factorial can be written as 7 multiply, this is 6 factorial, 7 multiply 6 factorial. Okay, so if it is n factorial we can write as n multiply n minus 1 factorial from this observation, what we have done here. So n factorial is n multiply n minus 1 factorial. So you can write from here n minus 1 factorial is n factorial divided by n. Okay. So this is the formula, n minus 1 factorial equals to n factorial divided by n. And using this formula, we can prove that what is the value of factorial 0. We know that this 1 factorial is obviously 1. So what will be the value of 0 factorial? Let's find out. To write the value of 0 factorial, we need to substitute here 1. Then only 1 minus 1 will be 0, right? So let n equals to 1. So you will get 1 minus 1 factorial is equal to 0 factorial. Let's substitute here. So 1 minus 1 factorial equals to 1 factorial divided by 1. Okay. So 1 minus 1 factorial is 0 factorial. 1 factorial is 1. 1 divided by 1 is 1. So 0 factorial value is also 1. And from here you can also prove that y factorial of negative number does not exist. So to get a negative number, let's say the smallest integer is negative 1, negative integer is negative 1. So to get negative 1 you need to substitute 0 here, right? So if you substitute 0, 0 minus 1 factorial, I'll show you. Let n equals to 0. Okay. So 0 minus 1 factorial is equal to 0 factorial over 0. So that will give you minus 1 factorial, and anything 0 factorial is 1, 1 divided by 0 is not defined. It's infinity which is not defined. So factorial of negative number does not exist. Okay. So 0 factorial is 1 and 1 factorial is 1, 2 factorial is 2 multiply 1 which is 2, but negative 1 factorial is not defined. So factorial for negative number does not exist. Now how this factorial helps us in solving question? So this NCR, this is called binomial coefficients. So let's say 5C2. It means from 5 we are selecting 2. It's the more in detail we'll learn in permutation combination, but that means 5C2, 5 choose 2. So out of 5 we are selecting 2 things. There's a formula like NCR formula. I'll write here NCR is n factorial divided by r factorial. Okay, NCR is n factorial divided by r factorial and minus r factorial. Okay, this is the formula. So 5C2 will be 5 factorial divided by 2 factorial. N is 5, r is 2, and 5 minus 2 factorial. So that will give you 5 factorial divided by 2 factorial multiply 3 factorial. So 5 factorial is 5 multiply 4 multiply 3 factorial divided by 2 multiply 3 factorial. 3 factorial gets cancelled, and this gets cancelled. So 5 multiply 2 is 10. So 5C2 is 10. What is 5C1? If you apply the formula again, so that will give you 5 factorial over 1 factorial, 5 minus 1 factorial, which is 5 factorial over 1 factorial multiply 4 factorial. And 5 factorial we can write as 5 multiply 4 factorial. 1 factorial is 1 multiply 4 factorial gets cancelled and you will get 5. So 5C2 is 10, 5C1 is 5. What is 5C0? So 5C0 is 5 factorial divided by 0 factorial, 5 minus 0 factorial. 5 factorial over 0 factorial is 1. 5 factorial, that gets cancelled and you'll get 1. So phi c 0 is 1. Similarly, if you find phi c 5, that will give you 5 factorial over 5 factorial, 5 minus 5 factorial. So that is 5 factorial over 5 factorial multiply 0 factorial. 0 factorial is 1. This gets cancelled and you'll get the answer 1. So these are phi c5 is 1, phi c0 is 1, phi c1 is 5, and we have made the Pascal triangle for 5, right? See, it's matching with when n is equal to 5. See, 1, 5, phi c5 is 1, and phi c2 is 10. If you find phi c3, you will get 10. Phi c4 will be 5. So there is another way to find out the binomial coefficients, which is factorial method, this NCR method. You can also write down the expansion of x plus, let's say x plus y to the power n expansion we want to find out. So it starts with nc0, first power starts with the highest, that is n minus 0 is n, y to the power 0, nc1 x to the power n minus 1, y1 nc2 x n minus 2 y2 nc3 x n minus 3 y3 nc4 x n minus 4 y4. So we're starting with 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's generalize it. So if we generalize it, we can write as NCR x n minus r y r, and the last term will be NCN x n minus n y to the power n. Okay, see, it starts with 0. So this is the first term. So when it is 0, r value is 0, it is the first term. When r value is 1, it is the second term. So if we write r, so it means it has to be r plus 1th term, right? T r plus 1th term, NCR x n minus r y r. That's very, very important. This is the general term. Here the r value goes from 0 to n. When r is 0, it's a first term. When r is 1, that's a second term. When r is 2, that's a third term. Okay, so r starts from 0 to n. That's why we have total n plus 1 term, because from 1 to n is n and 0 as well, so that will be n plus 1. Okay, uh, yeah, so this is very important. Let's solve some questions based on it. Okay, so it says term independent of x. Term independent of x, it means there should not be any variable. So the power of x has to be 0, right? Then only if the power of x is 0, which is will be equal to 1, okay, so there will be no variable, no x. So first let's find out in terms of r. We'll find out power of x. So for that we need to write the general term. So tr plus 1 is 8cr 4x cube power 8 minus r 1 over 2x raised to power r. So 8cr we can write here as 4 8 minus r x 24 minus 3r 1 over 2 to the power r, and here you will get x to the power minus r. Then 8cr 4 power 8 minus r. These are all in multiplication. Okay, so let's write down the constants separately and the variable separately. So 1 half to the power r. Here we can write 24 minus 3r, and this is minus r. So they are in multiplication, so it gets added. So finally you will get 8cr 4 to the power 8 minus r half to the power r and x to the power 24 minus 4r. Now as we want the term independent of x, it means we need to make the power of x as 0. Okay, so to get the power of x as 0, we need to equate this 24 minus 4r as 0. So from here, we'll get 4r equals to 24 and r is equal to 6. It means if r is 6, that's the seventh term will be the term independent of x. So t7 is, we'll put the value of r here. So we'll get 8c6, 4 to the power 8 minus 6, half to the power 6, and x to the power 0. Right? So 8c6 4 square half to the power 6, and this is 1. So use the calculator and find out the value of 8c6. So 8c6, 8c6 is 28, 4 square is 16, and to the power 6. To the power 6 is 64. So use the calculator. 28 multiply 16 divided by 64. The answer is 7. So the seventh term is 7. That's the answer. Next question. In the expansion 2 plus 8ax raised to power 6, the coefficient of x square is equal to the coefficient of x cube. Find the value of non-zero constant a. So let's find out the coefficient of x square. So let's quickly write down the general term. Always write down the general term. So 6er to the power 6 minus r, a to the power r, x to the power r. Okay. So for x square, r has to be 2. So that will be the third term, 6e2 to the power 6 minus 2, a to x square. So this is the third term, and for x cube, r has to be 3. So that will be the fourth term, 6e3 to 6 minus 3, a cube. See, here we are substituting r as 3. Okay, we figured it out that for x cube, r has to be 3, and this is the x cube. So it says the coefficient of x square and x cube. This is the coefficient of x square and this is the coefficient of x cube, and both has to be equal. So let's equate them. So 6e2 to the power 4 a square has to be equal to 6e3 to the power 6 minus 3 is 3 and a cube. What is the value of 6e2? Find out 6e2 using calculator. 6c2, it is 15. 15 multiplied to the power 4 a square. What is 6c3? 6c3 is 20. 20 to the power cube a cube. So you can bring it one side. Let's simplify further. So 15 multiplied to the power 4, or you can cancel them. 2 cube gets cancelled, so you'll get 2. 15 multiplied 2 a square divided by 20 is equal to a cube. Okay, so 15 into 2 is 30. 30 divided by 20, so you will get 3 over 2, which is 1.5. A square is equal to a cube. Okay, so a cube minus 1.5 a square equals to 0. A square we can take it common, so a minus 1.5. So a can be 0, or here they have given that a is non-zero constant. We don't have to find a is not 0, so a has to be equal to 1.5. Okay, that's the answer. It's a non-zero value. I hope all the concepts are clear to you. Very important in solving questions is the general term. So NCR x n minus r y r. This is the general term, and r can go from 0 to n. That's very important thing. You can solve any question based on the general term. I hope all the concepts are clear to you. Do visit our website www.victoryonlineacademy.com. We will be happy to help you, and we have helped thousands of students in last 3 years. So do visit our website. Thank you very much.